What's up, YouTube? So I know I haven't posted in a little while, and that's because I've been playing GTA 5, and I've been streaming it a little bit, and I've been doing a bunch of other things in between. I have a couple of other ideas and some things that I want to do and trying to get things in order and improve stuff, and that's always what I'm trying to do. But this weekend, I picked up Elden Ring Night Rain. Now, I'm not somebody who plays Souls games like at all. Like I've tried to get into Elden Ring when it came out, and I played it for, a couple of days, and I just could not stick to it, right? Later on I came back to it and I started to play it a little bit more, and I started to learn about, like, kind of like the posture thing, how to like break people's posture. I didn't even know it was a thing to be able to break people's posture in like Elden Ring. The most I ever did in Elden Ring was beat the tree sentinel like maybe 2 or 3 times, like in the time that I've had the game, and beat Margit once. That's pretty much all I've ever done in Elden Ring. I did eventually want to go back to it and try to play it, but I just never could wrap my head around it in terms of, like, where to go and what to do. And I know it's like an exploration game, but I'm like, I don't know like how they want me to play the game. So I never really got around to doing it. And plus there's tons of other games that I'm playing, and fighting games, and going to Evo last year. I'm going to Evo again this year and all that stuff. So when Elden Ring Night Rain was announced to come out, I wasn't even really thinking about the game until a friend of mine asked me. He was like, "Oh, you want to play Night Rain? You want to play Night Rain with us?" And I was like, yeah, sure, I guess. I had no idea what Elden Ring Night Rain was going to be. I thought it was going to be like, just Elden Ring, pretty much, maybe a new storyline, but it was going to be for multiplayer experience, right? So I not necessarily a DLC. Like, I knew it was standalone. Like, I heard that it was standalone or whatever, but I thought it was just going to be like a story experience that you can experience with other people if you wanted to. I was completely wrong about that. I had no idea what I was really getting myself into. And so it wasn't until maybe a few days before the game came out that I saw a video about what Elden Ring Night Rain actually was. And I had already said I was going to play it, but I had no idea what it was. So they were like, "Oh, yeah, it's going to be like a thing. There's going to be a storm circle that closes in. It's going to be 3 players, and you're going to, run around the map and collect, loot and things like that. And you're going to go and you're going to fight the bosses at the end of each day." And I was like, what? I'm like, excuse me? What kind of game is this? Is this like Elden Ring Fortnite? Like, but with only 3 players, and it's co-op, and you're only PvE? Like, I'm like, what? This is a new thing, right? So I'm like, whatever. I'm like, I'm still down to play it, because I'm going to be playing with my friends. And it turns out that not only my one friend get it, but, my other friend was going to get it. And then a few of my other friends got it. So we're all playing the game. So, we have like a group chat where I bring everybody together to play Monster Hunter, because, we all play Monster Hunter too. So when I put it in there, it was like, oh, all you guys got it. Okay, cool. So like, we've got people to play with. But since it's 3 players, it's like right now it's like 5 of us. We have more people, but I don't think all of our schedules align all the time. So we'll see how that goes. We'll probably end up having more people play the game, so we'll have an even 6. If we have an even 6, it'd be great, because then we can always have 3 and 3 or whatever. But usually we just rotated it out. We streamed it on my channel, and one of my other friends, he streamed it too, and we just rock out all weekend. Got mad at each other. Well, I got mad at one of my friends, because you know who you are, you know what you do. All in all, we had a lot of fun playing it. The very last run we had to fight the Cerberus last night, Sunday night. Dude, I was ready to give up. I'm not gonna lie. I was really ready to, like, dude, I don't know if this game is for me. I was gonna chalk it. My friend, he was like, "Yo, just pick Iron Eye and let's just go do this," right? And then my other friend, who was not playing with us in the group at the time, he was in the Discord, and he was like, "This is the one." And I'm like, I don't know, man. So we go for it. We fight on day 3. We fight the Cerberus, and we come out on top. It was beautiful. I popped off.
Oh, he's transforming. Fuck him up, Justin.
my God!
Let's go! I told you this was the one! Let's go! Magnificent! Magnificent!
Oh.
Nice.
God.
All right. I need one of y'all, man. I gotta run this shit by myself.
I thought we would not finish it until like next week, but we got through it. We got through it. The thing that got me to play this game is that it was a very condensed version of Elden Ring. Like, it's a very condensed, quick version of Elden Ring, and you go for a run, you do the runs. And another thing about this game is it helped me to kind of like understand. Like, I still don't fully understand everything. I don't know all the items. I don't know all the, abilities and all that kind of stuff. And I know it works slightly different than Elden Ring. I think like some of like the button inputs and the way the skills and stuff work. We don't every character, or excuse me, you don't have a character that you create in this game. You pick a character and you play as that character, and each character has a skill and an ultimate. So it's a little bit different than Elden Ring, because in Elden Ring you have, your gear is what determines your skills and stuff, right? The fact that this was a very condensed version made it so that I could get in, I could like learn what I need to learn, have a run, do whatever. And I would go into single player. That was the other thing. I would go into single player and practice, right? Because I didn't realize that there was a training dummy that was that you could animate and have it fight you to practice things, right? So like I needed to practice parrying because I was playing the guy who parries a lot, right? He brings out his cursed sword and he parries things, right? So I needed to practice how to parry. So I would go into single player and I would just run up to stuff and I would just start fighting things and try to learn how to parry and learn how his parry worked and how all the different things about his cursed sword. I'm still not sure I know everything about the cursed sword, but I know more than I did when I started. Like the fact, that, you can also switch parry, right? So like if you have your regular weapon out and then you time your cursed weapon switch with the enemy's attack, you'll switch into your cursed sword and parry at the same time. So you don't have to take it out to parry. You just have to do a different button combination. So your button combination for parrying while you have your regular weapons out would be triangle L2, which is the skill itself, but the skill itself is actually just taking out your cursed sword. But it has a parry window right in the beginning of it. I'm pretty sure it's like frame 1. So like you pull it out and you parry. But then after you have the cursed sword out, you can't run around or else you'll put it back in your sheath and you'll bring out your regular weapon to be able to sprint, right? Or you can dash, like you can do dashes and you can do dash and dash attack. To get further in front of you or to get up to where you're trying to fight the enemy, and then you have the L2 while you have your cursed sword out, where it's like a drop back slash, like he drops back and he puts the sword like over his shoulder, kind of like something like that or whatever, right? And then while the sword is over his shoulder, there's a parry window there, and that parry window is much longer than the parry window when you just do regular parry when you're bringing up your guard. So if you know that they're going to swing at you, you can kind of go for a read and do the slash parry, which is he drops back, you'll parry, and then he'll slash forward, right? So if you get 4 parries, right? 4 parries, all you have to do, you get 4 parries, and then you can use your like super golden slash or whatever, right? Because your sword will turn gold once you get 4 parries, and you can do this slash that does a lot of damage. Now I'm pretty sure that even if you do that, it goes further, it does more damage. It's the same ability that you would normally use if you didn't have like your weapon wasn't gold, but like it enhances the move. It gives you more damage. It gives you I'm pretty sure it gives you like invulnerability frames or something like that when your sword is gold. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but that's what it feels like when I do it with that move, with your sword being gold. So out of all the characters that are in the game, out of the 8 the 8 classes that are in the game, I've spent the most time probably playing the parry guy. I always forget his name because they don't have like basic names. But out of all of them, I think I played him the most. But I did dabble with other characters. So the first 2 characters that I selected to play when I first started the game was the archer, the Iron Eye guy, right? And then later on, I decided I wanted to try out the recluse, who is the witch girl, right? Magic mage, right? The reason why I even tried this character was because one of my friends who was playing the character said that it was really hard for him to get his mana to stay up. And I was like, something tells me he's probably doing something wrong. Like, let me go try out this character and see what it's about, because she's apparently like Dormammu, right? So I started calling her Dormammu. Anytime anyone does any type of elemental spell to an enemy or themselves, or they get hit with like something from one of our teammates, right? Like say for instance, you buff yourself with something holy or something like that, right? Then you will be able to pull the residue off of your teammate or off of the enemies, right? Most of the time it's going to be the enemy. So like if you use a magic spell, right, a regular pure magic spell, you'll have a magic. You'll get a blue icon down on the icon on your skill. So like on her skill icon, there are 3 little bubbles, right? And if every time you pull residue, elemental residue off of that enemy, it puts that form of residue on the little bubble, right? So like if you do a lightning attack and then pull lightning residue, you get lightning on the bubble down there, right? If you pull pure magic, you get a blue magic bubble down there, and you can do fire, holy, what is this? It's magic, fire, holy, and lightning, I believe it is. I think there's maybe another one, but I think those are the ones. And then depending on what combination of residue you have on that skill, it will change into a completely different skill. So like if you have 2 fires and a magic, or 2 magics and a fire, it will give you the same skill, because like it's called like double. It's like called magic cocktail. So if you have 2 fires and a magic, or 2 magics and a fire, you'll get this fireball that floats around and goes to seek out an enemy and starts to burn the enemy, right? So then you can start pulling, because it hits it multiple times, so you can start pulling fire residue off of the enemy once that fireball starts touching them. So fireball touches them, you pull residue. Fireball touches them again, you pull residue. Now, not only does that skill where you're pulling the residue off the character give you that element for your skills, it also replenishes some of your magic, right? Some of your FP, your mana, right? That is super cool, right? As long as you're paying attention and you're not just mashing on magic, you can keep your FP almost maxed the whole time. You'll never run out of the magic as long as you're pulling residue as often as you can, right? So usually I'm throwing magic and then pulling residue, throwing magic, pulling residue, throwing magic, pulling residue. Like I do that all the time. And if you're playing with other people, right, you pretty much that's what you're just doing the whole time. So if your teammates have like a fire damage weapon and they're hitting the enemy with fire, then I'm usually gonna like do a magic attack, pull magic, and then just pull the 2 fires off, throw the fireball up in the air, and then just start pulling residue again as I'm shooting them and doing damage, and while they're doing damage, right? She is really fun to play. She's definitely squishy. She can't really be getting hit, but she is really fun to play. She's like one of the most fun mage classes I've ever played in a game. I mean, I'm not like some mage class connoisseur, but like any of the mage classes, she's like one of the most fun characters to play, especially in this game. The other class that I spent time playing was Iron Eye. Now, he was one of the first 2 I selected, right? Iron Eye was the one that I chose when we finally beat the first boss, right? Iron Eye, and now I hear everybody saying Iron Eye is like the best. Even my friend was saying it. He was like, dude, he's busted. And I was like, I don't know. I don't see it. And it probably was because I hadn't had a lot of time playing the game yet. So like when I first started playing Iron Eye, I did not have a lot of time playing the game. So I was just out there just, shooting arrows, doing whatever, trying to, get my skill off every now and then. And I wasn't really taking advantage of how fast the cooldown comes back. So after we've been playing the game for so long, and I've been playing a ton of the Recluse, and I've been playing a ton of the Samurai guy, right? I decided, I was like, okay, well, I guess fine, I'll go back to playing Iron Eye and we'll see if we can do this, right? And I started to just literally go ham on everything in the map. I was just running around, killing as many mobs as I possibly could, and it was so much faster than shooting magic. I hadn't realized how fast his arrows were until I've been playing the Recluse, who also is ranged, but her spells come out a lot slower. She does a lot of damage, but her spells come out slower. So it's like I'm sitting there with Iron Eye, and I'm just like whack, 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 and then like running up to him, and then just doing the skill just to get the damage and get the mark, and then being able to get behind them and just whack, 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 and then wait for the skill to come back, using the skill on cooldown every time it comes back, right? So then we got to level 11. And then we went into the fight. I had to kind of get my bearings, but I was able to get in there and get the Cerberus marked a few times, and then keep hitting them with damage or whatever, right? The build that I used for that character was skill cooldown +2, right? So that my basic skill would come back faster, right? And then I had your starting armament has fire damage, right? So the bow that I start with would have fire damage, and then I had another relic that upped the fire damage that I had. So I was basically just banking on, like, I'm just gonna do some more damage with this fire, and then if I had something that had holy, that would have been great, but I didn't. So I just used fire, and I was just shooting at him, doing damage, and then making sure I just try to use that skill on cooldown all the time, right? And then whenever I got my ult, use my ult, and I used my ult in the final day to save one of my teammates, right? He went down, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get him up off the ground. So I immediately used my ult directly on him, and it just popped him right up. And I was like, nice. I was like, that was the best use of his ult that I had for the entire time we had been playing the game. Like, his ult usually like knocks back targets, but it's a huge arrow and it does a lot of damage. So I was just like, I'm just gonna shoot my teammate and hope that it does enough to knock down, I think it was like 2 of his meters. I think he had 2 meters on him, and I just hit it and it brought him right back. So that was really good. In Night Rain, right, with this whole roguelike thing, and the way they set this game up is pretty funny to me. They have you fight this Cerberus character, right? And you don't get anything in the game until you beat this Cerberus character. Now, the way I thought it would work is you beat the first Night Lord, and then you move to the second Night Lord, and you do that all the way until you get to the last Night Lord, right? But that's not how it is at all. You have to beat the first Night Lord, and then you get access to all of the rest of the Night Lords. You can select whichever one you want, but they only show you one in the beginning of the game before you beat it. So if you never beat the first boss, you will not be able to fight any of the other bosses. But it's funny that they do this because it's like I feel like it weeds out it weeds out people that are just like, I'm not about this life. But what this also did was, I think it had a very negative effect on matchmaking, because people saying that it was taking a long time to get matches in Night Rain, and the only time I could think that there was a time where you would get no matchmaking in Night Rain would be any boss that wasn't the first one. Because when I was playing solo and I would just queue in solo to matchmaking, I would always get matches really fast. But one of my friends said he tried to queue up for a match, and he said it took him like 20 minutes for him to get a match. And it was like, I think I know why. Because if people are not beating the boss, right? If people are not beating the boss, and then most of the people that are maybe beating the first boss are friend groups, right? Because I find it very difficult that if you're a solo player, right, that you guys will beat the third day on the first time together as 3 random people, right? So maybe if you kept re-queuing with those same random people, y'all would eventually get it. But queuing with 3 random people, I can't see it being easy at all to get to the 3rd day, let alone beat the 3rd day without any communication and with just 3 random people who don't know each other, right? So that's kind of rough. So the only people that would have the bosses are going to be people who beat the first boss, right? So like if you even if everybody were to beat the first boss on the first day and then they show all well, I guess not everybody, because no, it wouldn't be everybody. That's the problem. The problem is that everybody didn't beat the boss yet. So all the people that are stuck on the first boss, it's probably way more people stuck on the first boss than that beat the first boss already. So when you try to queue up for a match with any other boss on the list, you're now splitting so many hairs. Like you're splitting up the people who got past the boss and didn't, and then you get to choose whichever one you want, and then you have to wait in a matchmaking queue for other people that chose that boss. So I think that's what the problem is. That's the issue. They have to change the way matchmaking works. Like there has to be maybe like a random thing. Like you match with 3 people. Like they get 3 people, put them together, and then they present them with which random boss that they're going to fight. That would be a better way to do matchmaking. Choosing the boss that you want to fight should probably be left for people who are queuing as a 3-stack, because then you could choose, like you could queue as a 3-stack or a 2-stack, and then they'll just add a player randomly, and and the person who gets added to that is queuing up as a random, but you have to queue up to play a random enemy, right? You know what I'm saying? So like if they were to queue up and for a random enemy, they would get thrown on a 2-stack that is going into a like they would get thrown on a 2-stack that is chosen to fight a certain boss, or a 2-stack that is gone in random, or 3 people can go in together and go in random, right? Or 3 people can get together and go in on a chosen boss, right? But if you're 3 people, right, it will most likely put three individual players together, then present them with a boss to fight. And that's a way to, I think, fix the matchmaking. Because right now, you got to wait for everybody to beat the first boss so that they can populate and everybody can like filter in, and there can be a lot of people matchmaking for every single boss. And I don't think that's going to happen, because some bosses might be harder than others. So maybe some people might not want to fight certain bosses yet. A lot of people may want to fight they want to find the easiest next boss to fight and then do it that way and kind of figure out what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's hurting matchmaking right now. But personally, I think for me, this is going to be a really stressful game, as I have not fought any of these bosses before. The only boss that I can tell you that is a pain in my ass right now that we had to deal with, and this is not even crazy, because I mean it did feel like it got easier, you know, as time went on, but I just do not like fighting the Tree Sentinel squad. Like the Tree Sentinel squad, I hate fighting them. And the dog, I hate fighting him even more when he splits into 3. So, you know, you see the pattern here. You got 3 enemies, 3 big enemies on screen at the same time. If you're trying to look at one, you can probably keep a second one in your peripheral vision, right? But then the third one might be behind you and you don't know what's going on back there. So if your friend is back there fighting the third one, or, you know, keeping their aggro, and then all of a sudden the dog decides, you know what? I'm going to go fight that guy that's trying to fight my friend. You're going to end up getting hit in the back and killed because you weren't able to see what was behind you. There's been so many times fighting the Tree Sentinel boss that I've been trying to fight the one and trying to parry the one, and then the other one comes in and just like jams a spear in my guy's back, and I'm just like, dude, dude, I can't. I just can't. So aside from that, beating the first Night Lord has been it has been rough, but it felt very rewarding. It was very fun to do, and I'm gonna continue playing. And the game just got patched for single player, so single player is a little bit more. I want to say forgiving, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a walk in the park. I mean, some people have said that they've done their first single player clears, but like I just can't see it being a walk in the park. I've seen people today. I was like looking up Elden Ring Night Rain stuff, and it was like, oh, you know, these pros, they had a tournament. They turn everything into a tournament now. I'm not mad at it, but I'm just saying, man, they turn everything into a tournament now. So they had this tournament where they were playing, Night Rain, and these people that were playing, they were getting the level 15. How are they? I need to watch them to figure out what are they doing to get the level 15 by day 3, because we don't. We're solid if we're at level 11. Level 12. Level 12, if somebody's at level 12, then they were cooking. They were cooking on day 2. You know what I'm saying? Getting to level 15, there must be some very specific things that they're doing, or they're just beating the dog out of like the bosses on the map. Like, we fight some of the bosses and we can beat some of the bosses, but some of them, like the big dragon and like the 2 dragons that appear, it's like, dude, we're supposed to beat these bosses? Really? Like, some of them I'm looking at like, I don't think I'm ever going to beat some of these bosses that are showing up on the map. Some of these bosses I feel like we're not meant to beat. But I guarantee you, if we beat them, and we probably beat a lot of them, and somehow are able to just like plow through these guys, and maybe we might have to split up and do certain stuff. One person runs around and clears as many camps as possible, and then the other 2 people go around and kill bosses. I think maybe that might be the tech, but I don't know. I gotta go watch the tournament. So, but yeah, like. So basically, what's your guys' experience been with Elden Ring Night Rain? Are you somebody that plays Elden Ring and all the Souls games, or is this your first foray into an Elden Ring game or a Souls game? Because this is my first time in like this deep to a Souls game, where I'm like fighting with my friends and beating bosses and all that kind of stuff, and wanting to play it a little more solo, just to like practice and get used to certain things and learn stuff about the characters. And it's making me want to play some of the other Souls games. Not all of them, but I might want to revisit some Souls games, and I don't know when that's going to be. But like Elden Ring, I want to revisit Elden Ring. I want to try out Sekiro, because my friends have been telling me to play Sekiro. They said it's my one friend said it's my Souls game to play first. And I'm like, I heard it was one of the really hard ones. So if I played a few of the other ones, and if this one is harder than those, then dang, man, what you trying to do to me, bro? So, and then the other one that I want to probably revisit is Neo, and Neo 2. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to beat all of these games, you know what I'm saying? So, but I do want to revisit these games and try them out, because I own Neo 1 on PlayStation, and I know Neo 2 came out, and I think the Souls games that I really wanted to play, I wanted that one to actually be my first Souls game, Neo, because Neo is like, it's really cool. It's like he's like a samurai, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has like Japanese like weapons and stuff like that. So I liked the aesthetic of that game, which is the reason why I wanted that one to be the Souls game that I got good at and played. But I was like, I think I got to the first boss in that game, and I really was not prepared for what to expect. So I just kind of slowly walked away from that game and went back to playing fighting games, just like, you know, I normally do. So those games will get revisited at some point between now and the end of time. So we'll see. And because I still got a bunch of other stuff to play, and I still have a job. So until I don't have a job, and I can go into this content creation thing and the content creation thing is my job, then that would be great. So if there are any brands out there that want to give me some brand deals to help me get out of the 9 to 5 world where I can just, keep posting content, I would love it. Then I'd be able to post more content. I'd be able to do more things because right now I just don't have enough time. Like, time is the thing that constricts all of the things that I want to do. I can put out like one video here and there, then I can play a game a little bit, and then I can talk about it a couple days later. I can never like get multiple videos out in one day. I don't have an editor. I don't have enough money for that. So if I had at least money from brand deals to be able to maybe pay an editor or something like that, that would be great, because that way I'd be able to still go to work, right? Play the games, talk about the things, put out content, and then have the editor edit the things and post them up where they need to go, and then that could get the channel moving. So I got to see but I also would have to find the right editor. I have to find somebody that I can afford, and that also does, fairly okay work, and I'm not looking for anything fancy or special, because I'm just looking for somebody to basically cut out the silence and edit these things together, make it a cohesive video, and then slap it on the channel and then just get my thoughts and stuff out there. So but yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe, and keep that subscriber number going up. It's been going up slowly, and I gotta thank you guys for watching my content and everything, because sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't know if I'm going to continue because it's just so difficult. I'm always so tired. But thanks again. I appreciate it. And I feel like I can never just stop doing this and until I succeed. So, see you guys in the next video. Peace.